Hey, what's going on YouTube? Dad with a bike. And today we're actually in my garage. A little chilly out today, but I got something from Indian. If you stick around, we're going to talk about seats, because I did get a new seat. And if y'all don't know why, here's a picture of why I had to get a new seat. Alrighty y'all, thanks for sticking around. If you're new to the channel, do me a solid, hit that subscribe button. Help me grow the channel. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything. And if you like this video, stab the like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. What has been your favorite seat for your Indian Scout Bobber? Or what seat did you go to? Are you even still on the stock seat? There may be some of you that are still riding the stock seat. Inquiring minds want to know. So the seat is a very important upgrade on the Indian Scout Bobber. I think all of us probably have upgraded that seat. There's probably very few that are still riding the stock seat. But the seat is that one thing that connects us to the bike, and the Indian Scout Bobber stock seat makes that connection pretty painful. So many of us, like me, one of the very first upgrades that we made was getting rid of that seat. I went initially to the Saddlemen LS solo seat, and I rode that seat for quite a while. And then I moved to a two-up seat for a couple different reasons. One, I was going to carry a passenger from time to time, and the other one is I didn't like having the rack over the rear fender. I didn't like the look of that, so the two-up seat was going to also be a place for me to stick my gear when I go traveling. So I moved from the Saddlemen over to the Mustang Jared Mees seat, and I loved that seat. That seat was probably one of the most comfortable seats that I've had. Super plush, super awesome. However, like I talked about in the intro, somebody decided they didn't want me to have it anymore and they cut it up. Now luckily that's repairable, so I'll get that repaired to get it a bit more customized, but I need something right now and it's going to take a while to get that customization done. So what did I do? So I got to digging around, I got to look at the different seats, and I was trying to find a replacement seat, but I thought I was going to go with the Saddlemen step up. I was looking at a couple different options. I was actually going to also potentially just buy another one of the Jared Mees Mustang seats, but boy, I tell you what, there was no seats to be found. Trying to find one was just not a thing. And I suspect it's because of shortages, whatever the reason is, couldn't find one. I wasn't really thinking about picking up the Indian Syndicate seat, but I got online, got on the website, and it was available. And the Indian Syndicate seat, price tag wise, was in comparison with others, and it was still significantly cheaper than if I was going to go buy a Corbin, and I just really wasn't interested in dumping all that money on a seat to go buy the Corbin. So I pulled the trigger, got the Indian Syndicate seat, and today we're actually going to put it on it, and I'm going to give you my first thoughts on that seat. So this is going to be a first impression slash sad, potentially sad goodbye for a while to the Mustang Jared Mees seat, an introduction to the Indian Syndicate seat, and my first thoughts on its comfort and what I think in comparison to the other seats that I've had. Not exactly a seat connoisseur, but I've had multiple seats that have been on this Indian Scout Bobber. So let's go ahead and dive onto that. We'll take a look at the Indian Syndicate seat, put it on, and we'll talk about initial feel. Alrighty, so it comes in this box. No one's going to say Indian does a super awesome job with packaging and all that great stuff. Like, you don't get a package from Indian and go, oh my God, this is awesome. Like you would something else from, like, you know, the packaging from like a rear rock or something. But take a look, open it up, inside the packaging. You got some bolts, which are important for bolting it on. A little thank you thing from Indian. You know what, we're going to magically pull this out of this packaging. Bam! So it's a pretty nice looking seat. Now, it's not a leather seat. This is pleather, vinyl, not leather. Let's pull this out and take a little bit of a closer look to it. So here's what she looks like. It's going to be a pretty basic install, because really all you do is you rack goes, you put these instead. So of course no rack, thank God, because I really don't like the look of that rack. And then this gets affixed. Should be pretty easy. So let's go ahead and throw this on the bike, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about it. Alrighty y'all, we're back. It's installed. You guys are sitting on my gas tank. I am sitting on the bike. I'm not going to walk through an install because it's ridiculously easy to install. 4 bolts, it goes right back on, or goes right on. It goes where your fender rack would go. So it's not that hard to figure out. Total install took me 5 minutes. But before I step back and let you guys see the overall look of, you know, how the seat looks on the bike, I wanted to give you guys my first impressions of the initial comfort. So this is Dad with a Bike's first impressions of the Indian Scout Syndicate seat. So number one, very plush. This is not like the stock seat in any way, shape, or form, because I have been riding with the stock seat on, and I can tell you this is not like the stock seat. It's actually pretty plush. It has a nice step up in the back that gives you kind of a little bit of rear support. It's probably not for rear support, it's more for when you grab a handful of throttle so you don't get launched to the back of the bike. But the initial feeling of it is nice and comfortable. I can't tell you whether or not I'll be able to go forever and a day on this seat without putting something like an air cushion pad on or something like that, which regardless, when I do travel long distances, I throw an air cushion on my seat anyway, just for the added comfort to avoid fatigue. But by and large, sitting on it is kind of nice. It hasn't really changed my riding position much. I think if anything, it's probably scooted me forward maybe half an inch, like if at all. Like I can't really tell. So from where I was sitting with my Saddleman seat, like if I was comparing this to my Saddleman seat, it's the same. If I'm comparing this to my Jared Mees Mustang seat, I sit up higher and forward just a little bit. But again, it's nothing that seems to be kind of bad or crazy. It still puts me in a nice, comfortable position. My feet are still out in front of me in that forward control. By and large, it feels pretty comfortable, definitely pretty stable, and I definitely like how it feels on my butt right now. So opinions may vary after a couple thousand miles, but I'll let y'all know when we get there. Passenger comfort, on the other hand, I'm sitting on it right now as a passenger, and I can tell you this, boy, I tell you what, if you guys carry around a passenger all the time, I don't know how you do it, and you turn around and thank them for riding with you on this death machine on the back. I don't know how anybody could sit back here and be comfortable. There's just no way I could. I don't care what kind of seat was back here. I would be irritated, because maybe I'm a guy, my butt's bigger, but this would be really uncomfortable for longer than 30-minute, maybe an hour period. And after that, I'd be like, I'm ready to get off. So for me, it's fine because I rarely carry a passenger. Usually what I'm using my rear seat for is I'm putting stuff on it. If I'm traveling, my bags and stuff will go on top of that. But I like the look of the 2-up seat rather than the single solo seat with a rack on the Indian Scout bobber. Don't know why, it's personal preference, but it is just my preference. But from a comfort perspective, I'm not sitting on the back of any one of you guys, Indian Scout bobber. Ain't doing it, don't ask me. So now I imagine you guys are interested in, what's it look like on the bike? Well, tell you what, I'm gonna give you a nice, lovely little shot of what this thing looks like on the Indian Scout bobber. Alrighty, y'all, so what do you think? I think it looks pretty darn good. Matter of fact, I want to go over a few things on the looks of it with y'all and talk to you a little bit about it. So from a looks and comfort perspective, as you can see, like it kicks up in the back. This is going to give you a little bit of lumbar support, not a whole lot. Mostly this is going to keep you from flying to the back when you grab a handful of throttle. The seat itself is pretty plush. This is not leather. The seat itself is nice and malleable. So I think over a long haul, this is going to be pretty comfortable. And like I said, passenger seat is not all that great, not all that comfortable. So it does connect or bolt on just like the rack does, so it's pretty easy install. The connection points for the seat, you have one bung here that posts, or that sticks into the that goes over the post that's here, and then bolt, 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 bolt. So the one that we're used to having on the seat, the tongue that goes up under the fender, is not there on this seat. And one thing that I can tell you that I've already noticed is as I've been getting on and off the seat, because I'm not used to it, I seem to be kicking the seat kind of around here. So I can already tell you that because of that, it's telling me that it's a little bit taller than my seats. And of course, you can look at it and know it's definitely taller than the Jared Mees. So it's going to sit me up a little higher, which I don't think is that big of a deal. But like I said, only time will tell. So we'll have to see. Alrighty guys, so that's it. That is the Indian Syndicate seat for the Indian Scout bobber. So far, I approve. We'll see how I feel about it in a couple thousand miles, and I will let you all know. Of course, we're going to do a long-term update on this thing as I start putting more and more miles on it, and I'll give you guys my breakdown, my feeling on owning it and actually getting out and riding on it. And those of you that follow my channel know I put some miles on this bike, so you can for certain be assured that if I say it's going to be pretty comfortable, at least according to my butt, and after the miles I put on it, it'll be comfortable. So stick around, follow the channel, I'll tell y'all how I feel about this probably in the next maybe month or two. Now if y'all stuck around to the very end, do me a favor, hit one of these other videos, keep on watching, help me grow my channel, help me get the brand, the name of the Dad with a Bike out there, and let's blow this channel up. And with that, I'm gonna leave you. Y'all be nice to one another, y'all take care of one another. I love y'all. Peace.